What is the black girlfriend effect?
This you don't know about
glow up the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend. All of a sudden, he's got buzz cut, like clean shape up.
Glows up, bro. I like that.
I like that. They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about shit all the fucking time.
Hello everyone, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. So today's video is about James and Fuhad, two very popular podcasters from the UK who are currently touring the US, and both of them went on this podcast by Andrew Source. I think that is his name. I don't know if I'm getting the surname well, but pardon me if I'm not. And I started asking them questions about their personal life, about their dating lives, and everything went down to how it feels to date black women. And Andrew apparently disrespected black women by downgrading them, saying that they are very, very toxic, quick to anger. And instead of these two guys, James and Fuhad, to defend black women, because both of them are black men, they laughed out loud. They started laughing with their mouth wide open. And trust the netizens, they didn't find this funny, and they totally dragged them to hell and back, because this is not a joke. And a lot of people have been calling them out, and let's see what the netizens have got to say concerning this. And at the end of this video, I'm coming to give my final thought. But before I do that, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing. Give this video a like, because it helps the algorithm to push this video to further audience. And let's see what the netizens have got to say concerning this particular one.
What is the black girlfriend effect?
You don't know about this.
Glow up the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend. All of a sudden, he's got buzz cut, like clean shape up.
Glows up, bro. I like that. I like that.
They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about shit all the fucking time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
Nah, bro. White guys with black girlfriends,
they grow a beard because there's more cushion when they get slapped the fuck out of it. That's hilarious. I think the black girlfriend effect. It might be a protective instinct, bro.
You think?
Protective.
Yeah. Do you guys have you ever had black girlfriends?
Yeah.
Have you ever had white girls?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. What's your favorite?
We love them all.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We love them all.
Yeah.
That means white.
That is white.
Hey, let me give you a translation.
Kendrick fans,
We love them all.
That's royal English for me.
Honestly, when it comes down to it, I just think that James and Fuhad don't like or rate black women. That's just the bottom line of it. Because we can do these think pieces, we can evaluate their body language, this, and this. But I just don't think they like black women. I used to watch them back in the day when they were like 30, 40K subs deep on YouTube. But because they were actually funny guys. But I don't know, I just kind of fell off them. Because they just grew unlikable to me. But yeah, they just don't like black women. And that's all it is. That's why they can comfortably sit in a room. I mean, they did say they were uncomfortable. I don't really know what the whole situation is, but I just always got the vibe that they don't really like or rate us. So that's just that.
What is the black girlfriend effect?
You don't know about this.
Glow up the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black...
If you have not seen that video, I would recommend going to watch it. Now, here's the thing. Usually, I try to stay out of things like this. I try not to comment on things like this. I try to stay in the middle and not be on either side of the spectrum, which Lord knows I know better, because in the Bible it tells us that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, and that, you know, it's better to pick a side than to be lukewarm. So Lord knows that that being in the middle is never a good place to be. But here's what I will say. I recently became a fan of Fuhad and James. I'm not going to say the name of their podcast, obviously, because it has, it's a cuss word in it, and I don't cuss. However, if you've watched Fuhad and James, you obviously know the name of their podcast. And so I recently became a big fan of them. Like, I watched a snip of a video on TikTok and I was instantly hooked. They had me laughing, they had me giggling. It was hilarious. It was amazing. And so I had, became a fan, supporter rather. When I saw this video, I was greatly disappointed in Fuhad and James. Because even if they did not agree with what was being said and they were laughing just because of the uncomfortableness of it all, you said nothing to protect us either. It's not like you answered the question when he asked you which ones do you like best. You was just like, oh, you know, we like them all or whatever. You didn't do anything or say anything to protect us. Whether you agreed or not, because you didn't say anything, it kind of let us know where you stood. And it was so disappointing because both of you are black men. And if you don't identify as black, whatever, you are still men of color. And so by default, we expect you to protect us, right? Like, even if you disagree, you could have been like, man, listen, black women are beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I loved being with the black women I was with. It just didn't work because from irreconcilable differences. However you want to word it, however you want to put it. But the fact that you said nothing and you just let Andrew say what he was going to say, and y'all are just kikiing and doing all of that, your lack of saying nothing said a lot. It said a lot, and it was very disappointing. Being a new supporter of you all, that really made me look at things a little bit differently. Very disappointing. Yeah, very disappointing.
We might be witnessing the downfall of shits and gigs. I've just seen that clip. I don't know if they were on their podcast or someone else's podcast, where this man and them were talking about the black girlfriend effect. Already problematic, let's be honest. They were saying how when a white man is dating a black woman, how he then like starts to get a buzz cut and like grow his beard and like basically start taking on, you know, your partner's vibe. I think that's a normal thing in relationships. When you are in a relationship with someone, you usually start to take on things from them because you're around them so much. But I digress. This man is sat there, a white presenting male. I don't know where he's from, but he sat there and he's basically saying, no, they get a buzz cut and a beard as protection from being slapped by black women. And he is just gunning for black women, saying that everything they change themselves is just protection. Because like black women are just basically the hardest types of people to date and like the worst types of people to be around. These two just sat there and they just didn't defend black women. I went to a what's it called, like a live show, and I'm not gonna lie, the predominant like people at their live show were black and black women. Black women are probably the majority of the types of people who actually watch their podcast. The fact that these two men who also have black parents sit there and didn't quite defend us in this world where we're just like, why are we always getting brought into stuff? Like black women could just be sitting here doing absolutely nothing and we're still getting dragged, still getting brought into stuff and still not being defended. I'm so over it because I'm just like, this is just a tired narrative at this point. Like we're actually in 2024. And I just keep seeing comments. The saddest things, I'm seeing comments on that post. And there's so many black women being like, wow, like we really don't have anyone. Like no one has our back. It's crazy. And I feel like I hope that everyone who has watched that, every black woman that has watched that, doesn't feel away, because who are these men anyway? Like, really? Who cares about them and their opinion? Let's be so for real.
I used to watch, James and Fuhad's content, and I never expected them to trend, how they're currently trending, for pretty much a very interesting reason. If you've not seen it, it's a segment of them having other two men in their podcast where obviously they created a safe space where these two other men who happen to not be black were speaking down and perpetuating stereotypes towards black women, saying that they're aggressive, they're temperamented, they might slap you, and so many things that again is associated, with again a stereotypes that you would think that a podcast that has two, men of color would actually use that situation to correct these two men that was making these claims. But no, they participated and enabled and continued this conversation and allowing those two men to get away with what they said because, again, they never cared. Which I'm so confused because these are the same men that will say that they love black women, they respect black women, but then will allow other people to speak down towards black women and not say anything about it. It's just very disappointing, but I'm not surprised.
Black women are not difficult to love, difficult to handle, or difficult to be with. We're difficult to play with. And that's where y'all get it confused. We don't let y'all play with us, and we don't let y'all play in our faces. Y'all want them women that's docile, that's going to lay down, let you do whatever y'all want to do to her, and we don't allow it. Black women have no issues being submissive and being kind and being loving when y'all allow us to be so. But if you don't understand the psyche and the psychological damage that goes into the mass incarceration, you don't understand that the black women have had to spearhead households, so thus it makes us have to take on roles that we normally should not have to take on. But see, y'all so dumb and uneducated, y'all can't link mass incarceration to women having to take on roles more than what we should because of the mass incarceration. The whole goal is to get the black men out of the house. That's the whole goal, is to get the black man out of the house, and you chomping your veneers and you laughing and smiling and kikiing, doing the white man's job in front of a white man at the hand of the white man, sitting here talking about how difficult black women are and how we complain and how we complain. What are you talking about? Y'all so damn dumb. Y'all are so dumb. It doesn't even matter if anybody said we are not difficult to handle. And even if we are, so what? Y'all made us that way. Now what? Black women carry everything. We do literally everything. We spearhead everything from movements to trends. It would be none of y'all without us. Literally, y'all wouldn't be here without a black woman. Biologically, nobody would live this earth without a black woman. Yet, we the only ones that got to prove to everybody why we are worthy of love and we deserve better. Ain't nobody proving to y'all nothing. We're not proving to y'all nothing. Say what you want to say, do what you want to do, but keep our names out y'all mouths. We don't care if y'all like us. Of course y'all don't like us. Y'all don't like y'all mammies. Of course y'all don't like us. Make sure you put some respect on our names and go about your way. Leave our names out y'all mouths. We don't be doing nothing. All black women do is sit here, look good, set trends, and y'all be so worried about us. Why y'all so mad? Go get you the white woman that you want and leave us alone. You don't have to put us in places that we don't need to be. We already everywhere. Look around you. Look around you and tell me you can't contribute all the good things in this life to black women. Stop playing with me. We can't even tell y'all. Y'all see how anti-black that is? Listen to yourself. Black women can't even tell y'all what we like and what we don't like before y'all start talking about we complaining. It's anti-blackness. It's anti-blackness. Period. Andrew Schultz. Let me watch my mouth. Let me watch my mouth. Andrew Schultz, Fuhad, whatever his name is, and James, y'all know where y'all can go. And I'm gonna keep it like that because my friend keep getting on me for saying certain stuff, and I need to stop saying certain stuff. But I want to say certain things.
They were scared, and it was shocking and infuriating to watch them. You live in under a TikTok rock if you have not seen what's going on with James and Fuhad from the podcast Shits and Gigs. But if you haven't, I'll catch you up. So James and Fuhad come to America. They go on an Andrew Schultz show. So if you do not know who Andrew Schultz is, he makes jokes all the time about race, women, men, just raunchy, distasteful jokes, right? My point of view is going to be on the responsibility of the men who were going on the show or their team. And it was their responsibility to know where they were going in America specifically. Here's why I got mad and why I think the rest of the internet, specifically black women, are upset. Because we saw two black men tuck their fucking tails in real time. I mean, we hear the stories. Black men are subservient. They're afraid of white men. They do what white daddy says, right? We've heard the story. To see that shit in real time felt like I was in a movie watching shit go slow motion. Nervous laughter, giggle, looking at each other for reassurance, don't know what to say. Say something, do something. They're talking about your people. When everybody wants to talk about the state of black men and black women and why they're not together, it's because black women don't feel safe with you or protected by you, so they overcompensate, which becomes this unnecessary competition between the two sexes, and who's gonna lose? Not women, right? Because y'all scared. You guys are scared of the power structure and the system, and you're willing to sacrifice us for it. So why would we listen to you? Like, that's what I think. That's where I'm going with it. Every time there's black men and black women having this huge group conversation, that part is avoided. Trust is proven. It's not given. You have to show and prove that you are worthy of trust, and sacrificing black women in front of white men makes you distrustful. Love y'all. Bye.
Okay, I want people to understand something about this James and Fuhad situation. Now, before I address the situation and why it's so problematic. I want to first acknowledge the fact that I am a biracial woman, and I do hold privilege in terms of how I am viewed and treated. Okay? So now that that's out of the way, as someone who is a preference, this whole James and Fuhad situation, number one, is not shocking. It's not surprising, and it's not groundbreaking, because this is very common amongst Black men in terms of their pathology and how they have this deep desire to be accepted by those who are deemed and seen as more superior than them, because it will help eradicate and erase something about themselves that they dislike greatly, and that is their Blackness. And I knew this at a very young age. Black men would put me up on a pedestal, tell me that, oh, you know, you're so gorgeous, you're so beautiful. And then they would proceed to talk down, disrespect, and neglect Black women. And what I do normally is I let them talk. I let them get it out of their system. But the look on their faces after they talk shit, and after I tell them that the very woman that brought me into this earth, the very woman whose womb I was attached to, is a Black woman. And oddly enough, I'm no longer their preference. Because I came from a Black woman. I came from the very women that they disregard, disrespect, and neglect. So by them going on the Andrew Schulz podcast, right, which is ran by a white man, as we all know, Andrew Schulz is white. They believe that if they go on these podcasts that are ran and operated by white men, or if they go into white spaces, it will give them a sense of superiority, belonging, and acceptance, right? And that these white people will co-sign their anti-Blackness, when in reality, those very white people are exposing them for their self-hate and their anti-Black rhetorics. And what these white people will do is they'll feed them, right? They'll feed them these stereotypes that they perceive to be true about these Black men. And what these Black men do is prove their point. It's like their temperature is being tested. So these Black men think that they're gaining access to power, when in reality, these quote unquote powerful people are just turning them into a laughingstock. Had they have disparaged the white women, right? The very white women that they love and uphold and put on a pedestal, they would have gotten checked. And matter of fact, I'm also going to use Tiffany Haddish as an example. You guys all saw what she did at New York Fashion Week. She thought that by walking across that runway after being provoked and poked by the Hiltons, that it would give her some kind of superiority and access and be closer in proximity to those superior people, them being the white people. When again, it made her look like a fucking laughingstock. Now she's being laughed at. The internet's dragging her, as they should. Because any person with sense, with self-respect, and with boundaries would go, I'm not doing that. That's fucked up. I'm not a clown. By James and Fuhad getting on this podcast and just overall their behavior, it's really a defense mechanism. While they may be laughing, but deep down, they know that they are inferior. The people in these white spaces, they know that too. This is all nothing new to me, especially being biracial with a Black mom. I gotta tell you, nothing makes me happier and more satisfied than seeing the looks on these Black men's faces when they find out that my mother is a part of the very group of women that they hate. I know I'm y'all's preference. And this pathology, it's not shocking, and it will never be a surprise to me. And don't even get me started with that fake ass apology that James and Fuhad issued. It's above me. The sooner you realize this, the easier it will be for you to, one, not tolerate that kind of disrespect, and the easier it will be for you to stand up for yourself. They could have easily just said, hey man, watch your mouth. You shouldn't say that. That's disrespectful. But they didn't. They proceeded to laugh. And by laughing, they're showing that they agree with what Andrew Schultz said about black women, and that they also believe that they're inferior and cannot stand up for themselves. And if you don't stand up for yourself, you're going to fall for anything. And we just saw that.
In my opinion, being a colorist is worse than being a racist, because you're hating on your own people that look like you. If a white person comes and is racist towards me, that's their problem. They don't look like me. I don't expect support from them. But someone who looks exactly like me, especially the men from my complexion and men that were raised by a woman that looks like me, hating on me, that hurts me so much. And I experienced that a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot of times. And we see it every day. Every fucking day. It gets exhausting. Really, really exhausting. And I'm not saying that racism is not bad, whatever. But I don't care for white people. I really don't care if a white person is racist towards me. That's their issue. But someone who looks like me that should support me, hating on me, that's not.
Wow, you guys, that was a whole lot of reactions from different people. And I always trust the netizen to have a lot of things to say. And my thought about this whole controversy that is going on is that James and Fuhad didn't outrightly disrespect black women, but the fact that they sat there and allowed Andrew to degrade black women is totally disrespectful on their part. And the way they laughed also is uncalled for. They would have stood for black women, because at the end of the day, they have mothers, they have sisters, they have cousins who are blacks, and laughing alongside Andrew is like enabling him to further degrade black women. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. As a black person, would you find it funny if a white man degrades another black person and you feel the right thing to do is laugh out loud? I really would love to hear what you guys think about this in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.